Got. All right, good morning, traders. Today is March 6th, 2026. My name is Coach Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. That is the day trading division of the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for leaving the kind comments, the following my content, liking my content, subscribing to my content. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you so much. Special shout out Bob Jordan, John Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, Rick Sadler, everybody. Thank you for sharing my content, helping get the good word out there to the World Wide Web, so that others can learn as well. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you so much. All right, start off with the market today. Let's take a summary of yesterday. Okay, so my SPY pivot today, 681. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, IWM, diamond down. SPY, lower lows, lower highs, closing under bearish traps under their 17s. QQQ, lower high, lower low, lower high, closing over bullish trap over the falling 17. FNGU made a higher low, higher high. Now it decides to get in, try to do an uptrend. That's why I call it stinker. All right, so FNGU, higher low, higher high, closing over bullish trap over the flat 17. No, wait. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the flat 17, SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold made a higher low and a higher high, closing under a bullish trap and under a flat 17. Silver, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap and under the flat 17. USO made a new 6-year high yesterday. UNG, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap but under the falling 17. US dollar index still in a daily uptrend, closed near the 99.0 area. SPY max paying 685 with a put to call ratio of about 1.6 puts for each call today. Main event this week will be the employment situation, and that happens today at 8:30. So be on your toes. All right, let's take a look at the markets and see what's going on. So yesterday, 10-minute uptrend right through there. Okay, it's a nice 10 minutes. See the sticks riding on top of the 3. All right, and the 3 and the sticks riding over the 8. Okay, so 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2-hour candle. Got a 2-hour downtrend. See the sticks and the 3 riding underneath the 8. So 2-hour downtrend coming into the close. On the daily candle, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the flat 17, and with quad lines. We've got price up here. Zoom way out. Okay, this is the origin of the rally right here, April. We go up and over to the right. All right, so we're up here at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish. But we're still in a downtrend because we have not made any higher highs. Okay, so if you take a look at that, you can see we've got a low here. Okay, which happens to be below these two lows. And then we've got an even lower low right here and a lower high. So that puts us in a downtrend technically. We're not far away from making it into an uptrend. All we got to do is snap a new high up here over 694. We'll see if we can get that done. I think after they get this oil situation taken care of, things are going to revert back to where they were. Spot anyways, or close to it. Okay, maybe not exactly, but close to it. So there's SPY on the daily candle. Okay, we're with the quad lines on there. You can see in the upper third, I'm of the belief that you're bullish. In the lower third, bearish for me. Up here, quadrant 4, top of quadrant 4, that's bullish for me, way up there. Okay, just in a downtrend, so we're going to pull back in our bullish quad lines right there. So there's SPY on the daily chart. Weekly chart, we are still bullish and in an uptrend right there on SPY. Take this out of the way. Okay, so see that bullish, see all the green dots? Okay, up and then over to the right. So we're bullish at top of quadrant 4. Okay, and in an uptrend. We haven't broken any lows First low is going to be this one right here. This is the only low that shoots below, yeah, right there, shoots below the 17 right there. So underneath 650, and then we become in a downtrend on the weekly chart. Monthly candle, again, here's our April low. Price moves up and over to the right. That's bullish. Still in an uptrend on the bigger time frames. Okay, let's take a look at QQQ. All right, we'll start out with QQQ on the 10-minute. You can see the sticks in the 3 riding up over the 8. 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. 2 hour. All right, I'm just going to call it bullish consolidation right through here. It goes up and over to the right. Hardly an uptrend, hardly a downtrend, being since this is almost engulfing. More closer to a downtrend than it is an uptrend. QQQ 2 hour bullish consolidation on yesterday's chart. On daily candle, we've got a lower high, lower low. We're closing over a bullish trap and over the 17 up there. So that's QQQ. That is in the middle of quadrant 4. So that's bullish. All right, but we're still making lower lows. We haven't made any higher highs, so we're still in a downtrend. Bullish, but in a downtrend. On the weekly candle, we are bullish and in an uptrend. You can see we have not broken and made any lower lows underneath the 17. So we're still bullish in an uptrend on QQQ on the weekly. There's the origin of our rally right here, April 2025. And then we got monthly chart. Here's the origin of our rally 2025 right here, up and over to the right. We still have not broken any lows there. Okay, so we're still bullish on the weekly and monthly time frame. Daily time frame, we're still bullish, but we're pulling back right now. QQQ. So you can see here, weekly, monthly, bullish and in uptrends on QQQ. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Then we're going to go look at the game plans. Start off with Diamond Dow. Okay, so Diamond Dow yesterday, there's the lower high, lower low. Closed under a bearish trap, under the falling 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Still in quadrant 4 up here, in the lower side of quadrant 4. So we're still bullish. But you can see the lower high and the lower low. See the lower high. There's a low, making a lower low. And in a downtrend. So bullish, but in a downtrend on Diamond Dow. IWM. So IWM is a lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. Under the flat 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Again, down here in the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. And you can see a high here, lower high. You can see a low here, lower low. So in a downtrend on IWM. Okay, let's take a look at Stinker. Stinker decides to, I don't know, just kind of like woke up from a coma. I don't know, down here. Okay, so Stinker, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap. Everything else is falling apart, but Stinker has woken up and has decided to go for a walk. Higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the falling or flat 17 now, but under the midpoint right there, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, that's a pink line, under all-time low anchored VWAP, that's a purple line. We're not in the upper third. That'd be above the crosshairs. We're not in the lower third. That'd be below the crosshairs. So we're neutral, but we have not made a higher high yet. We are moving up. But we have not made a higher high. So we're in a dysfunctional downtrend in that it's not moving down. Okay, it's actually moving to the right or melting up. Okay, so there's FNGU, aka Stinker. All right, let's take a look at the game plan. Go to the 15-minute chart. Let's pick up SPY. And let's hit game plan. All right, so we got a green erases red entry up here over 687. That would be the high. Well, that would be the high from the day before. Okay, because we just gapped down a little bit right there. So that's the high from the day before. The pivot 681 roughly that would be the anchored VWAP from the day before that. All right, the anchored right off the low, coming right across the top here. Okay, red erases green entry underneath 680, 675.60. That would be the lows of yesterday. Okay, so under that, that would be a red erases green entry underneath that. Okay, I like I like Friday options. Okay, just happens today is Friday, so they're going to be 7 DTEs and 14 DTEs. I like Friday options on the multiple of 5. I like a lot of open interest. That usually means I'm going to get a tight bid-ask spread. All right, I'm going to get less slippage on my stop outs, and it's got a lot of open interest in there. All right, I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I like them because they offer less risk. I like them because they're cheaper. My favorite price point for my preferred price point for my out of the money options is usually 30 cents on up to $1.20. I only have a little bit of risk to work with. I got 3,500 to work with. So, if I start buying in the money contracts, it winds up capturing or using too much of it. All right. So for that reason, I like the out of the money contracts. I like to have more than just one or two contracts because it's very difficult to pick the top, all right, and pick bottoms, all right. It's hard. So sometimes I want to just sell into weakness, or sell into strength. I want to or buy into weakness or sell into strength up there, all right. So for that, I like to have more than one or two because that might not be the bottom, might be even lower than that. Okay, so I don't want to. I just like to sell in the weakness. Then on the pullbacks, I like to reload. So for that reason, I like the $2 to $15 out of the money range. Again, my favorite price points are 30 cents on up to $1.20. Okay, I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, I prefer 10-minute uptrend to have broken the bullish rubber band candle. Doesn't have to. I prefer 10-minute downtrends to have broken the bearish rubber band candle on the 10-minute chart. Okay, I like 10-minute uptrends if they happen to manifest down here below, long before the green erases red or long before the pivot. I'm not opposed to trading them. I'd like to see them break the the bullish rubber band, 10-minute rubber band candle, all right, or at least the 5, all right, Same with downtrends. If I happen to get a downtrend that manifests up here, long before the pivot, or the red erases green entry down here, I'd like it to break, the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Okay, down here when I'm bullish, break the 10-minute bullish rubber band candle. When I'm up here and I'm bearish, want it to break the 10-minute bearish rubber band candle. Okay, so there's SPY on a 15-minute chart. That's my game plan. I got one more thing to share with you. Okay, we have some trend lines right through here. Currently, we're right here. Okay, by the way, max pain is 685, which is up here. Okay, so I'm kind of envisioning price to ping pong back and forth through here, all right, until it breaks out. All right, so ping pong back and forth until it finally gets on top of one and holds the higher ground, or gets underneath one and holds the lower ground and rolls over. Okay, so I'm envisioning price to come back to 685 sometime today. Anyways, he's got that 10-minute uptrend we left off with yesterday. I think there's a high probability that has some continuation to it, straight on up to 685. We'll see what happens. All right, but that's kind of the game plan this morning. All right, a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. It's early. It's only 8:15. We've got employment situation comes out in about 15 minutes. All right, and things could reverse and turn around and head back up to the upside up to 685 area. All right, so that's what I'm kind of envisioning this morning. So I'm looking for that 10-minute uptrend to manifest so I can trade it back up to 685. Will it get to 685? I don't know. All right, but when it gets to the top of that channel back here, Okay, I'll definitely be taking some profits. If it wants to ride on, I will definitely leave a trailer for price to carry on up to 690 if it chooses to do so. All right, so that's SPY on the 10-minute chart. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. All right, this is the pre-market right now, and this is with the pre-market off. Okay, same with QQQ. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got a game plan, and let's hit that up on the 15. How about the 30? Okay. All right, QQQ. We've got green erases red. Okay, over the highs of yesterday, 612.90. Okay, above 612.90. Green erases red. Pivot, it's going to be 607.40. Red erases green under the low of yesterday. Okay, that's 602.30. Okay, so above, all right, that's a bullish entry up there. Below 602.30 is a bearish entry underneath there. Pivot 607.40. Above it, I want to be bullish. Below it, probably going to be bearish. Again, probably has some trend lines. And let's look at this area right. Where do I want to look? Right here. Right there. And the other area I want to look at is right there. Okay? It's a good chance it ping-pongs back and forth in between those, just like QQQ, or just like SPY. All right? Again, I'll be looking for a 10-minute uptrend. All right? A continuation of yesterday's 10-minute uptrend. That was a nice strong uptrend coming into the close. A lot of space, okay, was observed. All right? See the space between the 3 and the 8? A lot of air, a lot of daylight. That's what I call it, between the 3 and the 8. Okay, so I'm looking for 10-minute uptrend to manifest, and that's what I want to trade to the upside on QQQ and SPY. All right, unless of course we get under the trend lines. Okay, which I kind of mapped out earlier, under these trend lines and hold that area underneath, then I'll be interested in abandoning my 10-minute uptrend plan. Okay, if we get underneath this, I'll have to abandon my 10-minute uptrend. So in other words, if we do get the red erases green down here, that's where I'll have to probably abandon my trade, my 10-minute uptrend plan. All right, so there's QQQ on the 10-minute chart. All right, let's go take a look at daily charts again, and let's look at silver and gold, SLV. Silver yesterday, and make sure I got the right one. Yep. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap, under the flat 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP, not in the upper third, not in the lower third, so it's neutral. And you can see right there, there's a low, there's a high, there's a lower low, and then a downtrend currently. Okay, below this low, all right, I'm no longer bullish on silver. If they lose that, so underneath 71.40, underneath 70, whatever that low is, 71.50, 71, okay, below 71.50. Okay, no longer bullish on silver. Okay, so there's silver on the daily chart in a downtrend right now, currently trading around 74. All right, let's take a look at GLD. GLD lower high, lower low, closing underneath a bearish trap, underneath the flat 17. Okay, underneath the all-time, over the all-time high, anchored VWAP. Still in the middle of quadrant 4, that's bullish. All right, this is our 2022 origin right here. Okay, so that's still bullish and still in an uptrend. There's a high, there's a low, there's a higher high. So that's bullish and in an uptrend. Let's take a look at UNG, actually USO. USO, new 6-year high. Okay, this is yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high. We'll go to the 3-day chart. We'll pan way out. You can see the last time we were up here, all right, we clear right over this peak right here. All right, was right over here on the early part of 2020. Okay, right there. So that's a 6-year high right there. And they're going even higher again today. So there's USO on a 3-day chart. Back to the 1-day. New 6-year high. Okay. Doesn't get any better than that. All right. Unless it's the new all-time high. Okay. But that's pretty good right there. USO. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG got a higher low and a higher high. We closed over bullish trap, but under falling 17. And we are still in the middle of quadrant 1, so that makes us bearish. We're still under that 12-month high anchored VWAP, and we're still in a downtrend because there's a high. Okay, well, there's a high, there's a lower high, there's a low, there's a lower low. Okay, so we have not made a higher high yet. So bearish and still in a downtrend on UNG. All right, let's take a look at the dollar index right over here. Here is our bear flag. Price comes down and then over to the right. You can see price action. Here is a low. Here is a higher low. There is a high. There's a higher high, or here's an even higher high up here. Okay, so we are in a daily uptrend on the US dollar index. Closed near the 99 area yesterday. Okay, so let's take a look at technicals. We'll start over here. T2101. So market came down yesterday. We had a little dip and participation increased. That's not a bullish sign. That's not, you want participation to diminish. That's almost signs of a reversal, because now that price is coming down, participation is increasing. So it looks like we may have turned the corner. Maybe temporarily, we'll see. But that's T2101. Hey, I know we don't like that, but that's just sharing. It is what it is. And that's what happened, okay? We went down yesterday, and participation increased on T2101. T2122. And I had visions of being up here in the buy zone and the overbought zone after making the higher high from here. And while clearly they did not have the same plan that I had in my mind. Okay, so we came down here with lots of lower highs and lower lows, winding up camping out here at the bottom of the seller's chop zone. That is bearish. Okay, we'll see what happens today. Nice 10-minute uptrend into the close. Yesterday, we'll see if they can carry that on. Okay, on T2123, there is the all-time high right here, made on the 2nd of March. I just want to say that on the 5th of March, that was yesterday, we darn near challenged that all-time high. Couldn't get over it, though. So that makes that a double top so far. From that double top, we came back to the rising 200 SMA. There's a low. We made a lower low. So currently, we're in a downtrend on the 15. Only on the 15, okay? The 3-bar chart is not in a downtrend. The daily chart is not in a downtrend. But we did tackle the all-time highs yesterday. We tried to get up there, but we melted off all day. There's T2123 on the 15-minute chart. The good news is we're still up over the rising 200 SMA. That is a bullish outlook. All right, let's take a look at 3-bar chart. And you can see we're at the top. This is the origin of our rally right down here. We are at the top of quadrant 4. That's bullish and still in an uptrend. Again, if it's over the rising 200, I'm bullish. It's bullish. I like that. T21, 23, 3-bar chart. All right, stinker on the 15. Stinker was bullish yesterday. Go figure. Everybody else falling apart. Stinker has woken up from a coma. All right, so for stinker on the 15, we've got a low. And we've got a lower low. So that puts us in a downtrend. Have we made a higher high? There's the high. No higher high yet. So we're currently in a downtrend. We're over the hooking 200 SMA. That's a good place to be if you want to be a bull. We are under the all-time high anchored VWAP. From the perspective of these lows, we're up there in quadrant 4. I'll put that on real quick. Okay, from these lows, you can see we're up in quadrant 4. That's bullish on the very short-sightedness right here in that the 24th of February, and we're moving up, all right, from there. But, all right, if you grab the bigger picture, all right, you can see we're still down here in the lower third, all right? We are fighting our way out of it. We'll see what happens, all right? That's stinker on the 15. All right, and we'll take a look at the max pain. So max pain is 685. We are underneath it right now. And that's another good reason for me to buy some calls this morning for a trip up to 684, 685 area. We have a put to call ratio of about 1.64 puts for each call that expires today. All right, so and that is index options expire at 4:15. The security options expire at 4. All right, so I don't know how high it's going to get, but I'm looking for that 10-minute uptrend to manifest this morning. We'll see what happens. Okay, so there's view at Max Payne. On the economic calendar, we have the employment situation, which is a market mover. Comes out in 2 minutes. We got a couple of delayed reports here. Retail sales, 8:30. Business inventories at 10. A rig count at 1. And consumer credit at 3, right there. So the delayed reports are retail sales at 8:30. Business inventories at 10. Employment situation is not a delayed report. So it may be active and volatile in the next 2 minutes coming up here. All right, all the way up until the open. As far as earnings go, nothing but familiar names here, but nothing here that's going to move the markets. Yesterday, Costco supposedly reported after the close. We can go take a look at that. All right, let's go over here to this one. And Costco is COST. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't look like much. No bullish bias, no bearish bias. Looks like market's not even fazed by the numbers that they reported last night. Actually, it doesn't even look like they reported. I mean, there's no. Well, here's that EKG kind of price action right through here. Big wick, big tail, right back to the center, and then over to the right. So I guess they did report. I can see that right there. All right, that's it for me for this morning. I will see you all in about 45 minutes, and we'll open up the markets together and trade them. Thank you so much. See y'all in like 45 minutes.